This is Ella Pruitt. I'm interviewing Adolph Wilson at his place of business, 1919 North 13th Street in Kansas City, Kansas. The name of his business is the Fireplace Lounge. Today is June 22nd, 1976. We're going to begin the interview with something of early childhood. Mr. Wilson, would you tell me when and where you were born?
I was born in Okmulgee, Oklahoma in 1940,
Could you give me the month?
June 26.
June 26th. Okay, who are your parents?
Mr. and Mrs. Vernell Wilson.
Do you have any brothers or sisters? If so, what are their names?
No, I'm
Only child?
the only child.
Okay. What type of work did your mother and your father do as you were growing up?
My mother, she was a cook, always fell. My father, he was a custodian. They do about the same work today.
Do you know if they were originally from Oklahoma?
Yes.
They were from Oklahoma, and that's from Okmulgee, right?
Right.
Okay. When did you move to Kansas City, Kansas?
Oh, in 1950.
Okay. Growing up, so you were about how old when you came to Kansas?
About 8, 9.
About 8. Okay, so you were basically, let's say, in the midst of your rambling days as little boys are. What was the first school you attended here in Kansas City, Kansas?
Let's see. Douglas.
Douglas Elementary. Was
Right.
it well, if I'm correct, Douglas is still
It's still,
segregated, right?
yes,
Okay, so it was segregated at that time.
of course.
Okay, do you recall the curriculum of the schools at that time?
Well, no, I can't really. It's been so long ago.
Okay, what about the neighborhood in which you live? Could you describe that for me?
Well, I lived on 3rd and, let's see, 6th and Stewart. Yeah. And the neighborhood was a pretty nice neighborhood. And then we moved to 11th and Washington, across from the blind school. And I lived the remainder of my high school, junior high school, and high school days.
Okay, would it be true to say that the elementary, junior high, and your high school days were all in segregated schools?
Yes, be very safe to say.
Okay, what high school did you attend?
Sumner High School.
Okay, at Sumner, at the time, say during your junior and senior year, what extra activities did they have available for youth?
Of course, they had the athletic program. Football, basketball, track, drama club. They had many of the same type of clubs they have today. Let's see. We didn't have an auto mechanics. I would say that they are same type curriculum.
Okay, what about any instructors? Can you recall any instructors that we could say maybe inspired you or that you were particularly fond of because of their teaching ability?
Yes, Mr. Hall. He's I think he's vice president of Douglas State Bank.
Gerald
Hall.
Gerald Hall.
Right. He played an important part in my early life, I would say.
Okay. After you finished high school, what did you do?
Oh, I went to Wichita State University on a football scholarship. I stayed there for 4 years. Then,
Now, is Wichita State, is that all black school?
no, it's white. No,
It's
predominantly white.
predominantly white.
Mhm.
What kind of housing? Did they have dorms? Did you have to live off
They
the
had
campus?
dorms, but we had a choice as athletes. We could live in apartments, and they would. My scholarship was a 4.5 year full scholarship. Everything was paid, and then plus if we lived off campus, they would give us $85 per month for paying for an apartment.
At that time, now we hear, well, I know, say like with the OU or I think OU or Old State's football team, whereas they kind of did something with the transcript so as some students, would be able to play. And they also gave you other fringe benefits. Was it anything like that at Wichita?
No, I can't say that because my first year I played around a little bit and I got myself in a little
So you did have to keep a.
problem. Right, you have to keep a C average.
Mhm.
What they would do at WU if you had some problems in a particular course, they would help you, give you a tutor or something like that.
Did you work at any time?
No, we didn't have to work. Uh, for our scholarship called for 4.5 years at that particular time, and the only thing we had to do was perform in the classroom and on the field or on the court, whatever type of sport we was involved in.
Okay, now this W is at that time. Would you say predominantly white, meaning just a little?
There's very few blacks at W at the time.
Or what kind of social life was it? You have to go in town? I mean,
Yes, we had most of our social life was built around in the city of Wichita, which was a lot of black in Wichita. But as far as campus life, we really didn't have a exciting campus life at W.
okay. Upon finishing school, what did you receive? What did you receive your degree in?
I received my degree in social studies, physical education, and had 2 or 3 minors.
Okay. When you are presently a part of the Kansas City, Kansas school system, that being as an administrator at what junior high school?
I'm assistant principal at Northwest Junior High School.
Okay, and you've been there for how many years, Steve?
This is my 5th year in that position.
Okay, before entering in that position, what were you doing?
You mean in the
In
education
the
field?
education field.
Okay, in the education field, I taught elementary for a year and a half at Stowe Elementary. I went to Stowe for a while, and I went back and taught for a year and a half. And I left there and went to Northeastern High School, and I taught there for almost 2.5 years. And then I moved into administration.
Okay, since you've had some experience in elementary school, how would you compare the problems of the small children in elementary school and the children as compared in junior high school? Are the junior high school students that much different? I mean, do you have that many behavior problems?
Yes, at that age, junior high school kids are at an age that it's very difficult to tell them something. They're at an age that they believe that can't anything happen to them. They know everything, and yet I guess they're at an age that they really haven't made. They don't have any problems to worry about because living at home, they don't have to worry about in the next 4 or 5 years what they're going to be doing because they know mom and dad's going to take care of them, and they are a very difficult age to work with.
Okay, how early in life did you actually begin earning your own money? I mean, this was Adolph's money, and Adolph had to pay these bills.
Well, I'll never forget that. I started earning my own money in 1964. When I finished college, I got involved in politics. Well, before I finished college, I got involved in politics because I worked part-time for a guy in Wichita, which he was a representative of Kansas at that time, and he sort of got me tied up with the Republican Party and working with him, and I really got involved in politics. And once I finished college, he got me a job as a marshal in Wichita, which was a Republican guy. He was the marshal at that time, so I was definitely involved with the Republican Party, and I worked. I worked there for 2.5 years. Then I decided to leave, and I started to go to Washington D.C. and work with Senator Shriver. Uh, but I was sort of tired of politics, so I decided to just.
But was it good money?
Yeah, it was good money.
But it was just kind of like a strain emotionally, or
Yeah,
just.
it was the games we played, the campaign, and all this year. I just got tired of it. Yeah.
Okay, can you recall how much the teachers were earning in Kansas City, Kansas, when you signed your first contract?
I signed my first contract for $5,200.
That was good money then, was it? Was that considered good money?
I don't know if you can really say that or
Depending
not.
on your rate of mind.
Right. Because the reason I say that because I had been used to making more money than $5,200 a year, so it was a big cut for me. But it was time really to do what I really wanted, what I really went to school for, and that was teach school.
Okay. You've never been in the military.
No.
Okay. In the school system as anywhere in the world, say back in the 40s and 50s, as I've been told by my parents, there were a lot of racial involvement, whereas if you were black, you didn't say anything. I mean, if the man told you get up and let him sit down, you did that. Have you ever been a victim of embarrassment as far as a white person publicly speaking to you or making any kind of remarks or even touching you physically?
I could think back once when I was in high school, just once. That's when I was working for the city in the summer, when I was a senior in high school. And I was working with, there was three other white boys, and we were cutting grass for the city. And we decided to stop out in the Armadale there, the pop. And went this little place, and of course, upon me entering the place, the lady just simply denied me the right to buy a Coke because of my color. But I was sort of proud of the other three white boys I was with because they really went off and raised a little sand and caused a few problems too at being a young age. And we just didn't buy anything. But that's the only time I can think of that I was denied anything around here.
Okay, you said is it northeast or northwest?
That was at, you mean
now where you're
northwest.
Northwest. I know at the school system at which I'm at now, they are eventually not doing away with the PTAs and committees, but seem like they're dying down. Do you have any type of organizations at your school now that involve the parents?
Yes, we have what we call the PTS, Parent Teacher Student Association.
Okay, now do they have the same functions of the PTA where I knew,
Yeah, same type function. Only I guess they get involved in a little bit more things over at our school because the members of that particular organization, they come up to school and they help us in the hall or something like that, patrol, things of that nature.
Okay, has there been a decline? We hear about white flight, and now the school where you at now, that's a black area. You couldn't say predominantly black, but that is a black area, right?
Almost, because we have very few whites going to school.
Do you know what the enrollment was this past year, 75, 76?
It's about almost 1,200.
Okay, now what do you recall?
Percentage of white?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we had about 15 to 20 whites. It's really declined since I've been there.
Okay, you said about 1,200 students?
Mm-hmm.
And about how many were there when you first went?
Oh, a little over 1,200, close to 1,300, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started earning your first money, as you said, about 64. Okay, and if you had money, more than likely, if you were like me, you would like to go out. What was there to do?
Oh.
Meaning socialize for anything for black people in Kansas City, Kansas.
I guess about the same thing they have now, really go to clubs.
Was there any particular clubs that were extremely popular at that time?
On the Kansas side, I think perhaps the most popular club at that time was 20 Men Club.
It's dead. Okay. Now, your place of business, the Fireplace Lounge, which is here at 1919 North 13th Street. What happened that made you want to go into this type of business? Do you have any other relatives that could have perhaps influenced you, or could you see that this was good money, or why did you go into this type of business?
Well, my uncle really, he got me involved in club business. He had a place for years and years, and he was about to open up a new place, and he wanted me to go in with him. So I gave a lot of thought, and eventually I decided to go in with him. That was a Golden Key Club at that time, which it still is today.
And that's on
It's
5th,
on 10th
10th
Street.
Street, right?
And we was in business together for 3 years, and I decided to get out and start my own business.
What did you have to do to enter into business? Was it a lot of paperwork? You have to get a lawyer.
Well, we had to. What we did, the main thing you had to get was some money.
The money.
But we did. We had a lawyer, which we drew up an agreement what we was going to do with the money that we earned and how much we was going to bank and how much was going to go in our own pockets. And from there, we just simply put up the amount of money that necessary to get started in the place.
Let me ask you this, because I really don't know. Now I know, just like I was quite horrified when I came to Kansas and they sent me a property tax, the sheet that says personal property tax,
Right.
and I knew I didn't own a thing, and they told me I was paying it on a 72 Volkswagen. Do you have to pay taxes on
You have to
business?
pay this type of business. And see, Kansas, when you talk about club business, a lot different from Missouri or something like that. You have to pay sales tax in Kansas.
Well, have they ever tried to get rid of this law, or?
Yes, we've tried, and our association have tried, and we fought it in court, and of course we lost it, where we could have more of an open type club rather than a private club.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, that would mean simply serving liquor across the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And Kansas has, this particular law has never passed in Kansas, all over the state of Kansas.
Okay. Now I know that. Now I do go to your club, and I know sometimes the club is so crowded, and people in the Kansas City area, as well as I see Missouri people over in this area, and I've noticed right across the street. Now you are now in the process of building what?
I'm now in the process of building a new club, a restaurant, and putting a liquor store in it also. Just combining the three things.
Now, as opposed to most places here in Kansas City, Kansas, close up. I usually say they close up when they get sleepy because it seems like it's that early to me. Do you have any ideas? Now I know there will be hours on the liquor store because that's law, but about the restaurant, do you have any idea what hours?
Probably. I was thinking in terms of once the thing is opened up, they'll probably still open around 4 o'clock because they're probably serving a lot of breakfast foods too.
That's right.
After the club is closed. So I was thinking in terms of 4 o'clock.
Okay.
On the restaurant part.
Now, with the type of business that you have, the fireplace, is it? Do you ever run into a lot of problems? Whereas people are, of course, there is alcohol. That people are somewhat getting out of hand, or is it more so of everybody has a friendly attitude and they know when to,
This particular club, my club now, we have the type of people we have come into place are very intelligent folks, most of them, and they know how to conduct themselves in a respectful way. Of course, like you said, it is a drinking establishment, and they sometimes get a little loaded, but they know how to handle themselves, and we've never had any difficulty in the 3 years I've been open here. I think I can recall one little argument where a few words passed between two people, and I simply just stepped in, and that was about it. Other than that, we've never had any problem in the place.
Okay,
I might say, add this here too. We're very restricted to the type of people that come in the place. Since it is private, we were able to choose the type of people that come in the place.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I've also noticed in other clubs that are drinking establishments, I don't know whereas they're different, but I've noticed some of them have guards on duty. I mean, they may not be guards that are suited. Now, is this according to an individual? If you want a guard, you get but it's not. You don't have to.
Well, I guess that started about 1.5 years ago, and 2 years I would say. And the clubs once closed at 3:30 here. Okay, and then they changed the law until 2 o'clock. I think that's the time. 2 o'clock. We can stay open until 2 with a guard. But you had to have a guard. Otherwise, you would have to close at, I think it was 1 o'clock.
Well, would the
And be
guard
out
have
by
to be
1
from a
thing.
certain agency, or?
No, he didn't have to be from. All he had was just be a guard with a permit to carry a weapon. You get those type of commissions today, marshal, sheriff commission. You can get a guy like that to work for you. And I think a lot of clubs just continue that, and a lot of them continue that because they was having difficulties in the first place. But I didn't see any point in continuing with the guard, because we never did have any problem in the first place.
Okay, and it's something else unusual that I find now. This is a residential area, more so to speak. I mean by residential, because there are homes, people living in homes.
Right.
And you never seem to have any trouble with the people. And so, to me, I would think that there would be, here he is, opening up that club, and it's going to be a bad weekend. How are you able to have a club, have your customers, and still maintain friends with the neighbors?
Well, we've never had any problem. One type of problem we really have sometimes when people go outside and closing up there, make a little noise, and people real close. Like this lady across the street, she's white. In fact, all the families up and down the next 3 houses, they're white. And sometimes they make a little noise, but other than that, we don't have any problem with the neighbors up to this particular time. But I am having problems now, since it is a residential area, as far as getting a permit to open up the club over here, moving from across the street over here. This is now this used to be a commercial zone.
Oh, okay.
And now it's been rezoned to a C2 family dwelling. But this building here, this new building, is still a commercial building. Now I can open up anything I want except a club without getting a special permit. And I am having problems getting this special permit. In fact, I got to go before the commissioners of Kansas City on the 30th of this month.
Well, now, is it just the law, or would it take maybe if some, I really don't know, I'm just guessing, would it, to go before the court, perhaps say some of the neighbors in here around this community, if they went with you and said, would that have any effect on whether or not you get it, or if it's just them, they can just say, no, you can't?
Well, what they had to do, they have to petition all the people who live within 200 feet of this club or this building, and they have done this. And I have talked with each house owner here, our homeowner, about the new club, and they all agreed that the old club was managed very well, and they didn't see any reason why not move across the street into a new building. And so I haven't had any problems with the neighbors. They're all helping me. In fact, I'm gonna probably have a few of them go uptown with me on the 30th.
Well, this is good, so I can really get my teeth set to eat after 4 then.
Well, the restaurant will definitely be open in the liquor store. It's just the club part.
Okay, let me ask you this too. Usually has someone to run a liquor store. Is it true? Now, I've not read into this or anything, but I've always heard if you work in a liquor store, you have to be a non-drinker.
No, that's not true.
Just since they are of age.
Yes, they have to be 21 years of age to work in a liquor store. But besides that, I don't think they. Well, I know about that no drinking. I know that's not true.
Oh, okay. Do you play an active role in the general community, far as maybe you do have children maybe with a softball league or anything of this nature, active in any club groups, Optimist Club, anything like this?
Well, I'm a charter member in the Optimist Club.
Is this the Northeast?
Northeast Optimist Club. We organized that particular club. As far as being active anymore in the community, as far as working with young people, I'm not as active as I used to be, because I used to be really involved in it.
Are you a member of any fraternity?
No.
I didn't think so. By going in, they probably didn't have any black fraternities available to you when you were at WU.
Oh, they had one, but it was so poor I didn't get in. I won't mention the one. So.
Okay. During the assassination of Martin Luther King, what was the reaction of the school children to the death? You know, you've heard so many things, because I recall I read in the paper about Kansas City and when I was in Oklahoma, and they weren't very explicit in which Kansas City they meant. I mean, you know, because when they say Kansas City, there are two Kansas City, Missouri, and they were saying these kids were tearing up schools.
Right.
And if you weren't here, you really don't know.
Yes, at that, if I remember right, I don't think it was a lot of people upset, of course, about it, the death of Dr. Martin Luther King. But I think where it really, you know, the kids really got tight about it was when they wouldn't recognize
His death is a
as a
national.
holiday, right? It's a national holiday. I think that's when the kids really got upset about it. I can recall the kids up Sumner really getting uptight about it. And over to
Did they
Northeast.
have any demonstrations? Or?
Yes, they did. They organized, and they was pretty well organized. You know, they demonstrated. But as far as, you know, once it happened, I think it was such a big disappointment to everybody. You know, at that particular time when it first happened, that the people, you know, just was really more sorry about his death and really raising sand about it. But I think, you know, the next year, then they did want him to be recognized nationally.
Presently, the faculty at Northwest, is it the faculty? It's integrated, right?
Yes, it's about 75% white.
Really?
Right.
Now, how do our black children react to the white teachers?
Well, some of them, some of the white teachers there, they do a very good job, and they relate very well to the black kids. The ones that don't relate, they don't last long. If they last a year, it's a miracle.
Is it usually a voluntary getting out of this school, or more so of a reason that they know they have to go?
Oh, I guess you would say, you know, it's both of them really, because sometimes they know they're gonna have to go, and because of certain reasons, they're not doing the job right. They're having so many problems. And then again, some of them they change jobs and get better jobs. We lost about 3 teachers this year because of, you know, just got a better position. And then again, we lost a couple more because of transfer.
Okay. Now, your family. You are married, and what is your wife's name?
Joyce.
And you have children. What are their names?
Curtis and April.
Okay, are your children within the public school system, or are they attending private schools?
No, they attend the public school system. I don't believe in private school.
Okay, because you know we have so many teachers that are teaching in the school system, but their children attend private schools. Do you see public schools as evidently as an advantage, whereas maybe private schools, you know, you're so sheltered, or they're attending all-girls school or all-boys school, they have no interaction with the other group?
Yeah, I see public school as being an advantage over a private school, to the extent that if a child attends a private school, then he's not going to be able to. He might be working with the kids. All the kids that attend that particular school, they probably have to have a goal in mind. They're very bright, maybe. The parents really want to get ahead. And you probably won't have as many problems as you do in public school. But that's not the type of life that kid's going to live when he gets to be an adult. He's going to have to be able to mingle with all types of people. And usually in private situations, you have a certain type of person who attends a private school. And, you know, then again, once you get out into society here, you're going to have to be able to cope with the slickers, the pimps, and everything else, the business people. And in the public school, you're going to have all those type of kids growing up. You're going to have some kids there who's going to try to be little pimps in school. You're going to try to make some money there. And you have some kids there who are very intelligent kids who are strictly thinking about the future and want to go to college and major in a certain area or profession. And so this is the reason I believe in a public situation, because you have all types. Over the private schools, the kids there. I've worked in a private situation for a short while, and the kids just are different. All the kids probably have the same type of goal in mind, especially on the higher level. You don't have the kids walking around that know everything about shooting craps.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You just don't have that. You don't know the ones that the kids who are going to be the bullies, going to take money from kids. And in this public school, then your kid or my kid, he will definitely be able to learn how to cope with that at an early age, because once you get to be on the duck, you're going to have the same type of problem.
What do you feel about busing children?
Oh, busing, that's all sticky. I believe in integration. But I don't think I would want my kid bust. I don't think I would want my kid bust too.
Presently, Kansas City, Missouri, has suit. The HEW has a suit against Kansas City, Missouri, involving. Well, I'm not gonna say busing to achieve integration, but it's about integration basically. What do you think would happen here in Kansas City, Kansas? Because I am aware that Dr. Plucker has been in court. I don't know if he's still in court. Something involving integration. Do you think there would be a similar incident as in Boston, where they have basically knock out, drag out every other day the kids trying to go to school? Do you think Kansas City, Kansas would react in this manner if it led to busing to achieve integration?
Yes, I really do. I think we would have the same type problem. Perhaps not as great as Boston, but I think we would have the same type problem as far as parents demonstrating to prevent busing. Because again, it's pretty rough to bus a kid all the way across town, 5 or 6 miles away from home, when you have a school in your backyard.
Right.
It's pretty, especially for elementary kids. Perhaps a junior high school or high school kid, would be he's at an age that he can get back home or contact mother or something like that if something happened. But at that early age, it's pretty rough. So I think we have the same type of problem. Perhaps not as great, because in Kansas City, Kansas here, I don't think it would be very difficult to integrate the school system, really. Because if you just change a few boundaries, you can have integration here.
I have asked most of my interviewees this question concerning the youth of today. If there is a message to inform the black youth, particularly, of things to do in the future, of a message that you could give to a black youth, any black youth, regardless of their parents' background, or say a youth coming from a very poor family, what would you tell that youth about his outlook in life, things for him to do?
Well, I tell a lot of kids today, no matter what type of home they can't come from, that they can make it as long as they want to make it. But they have to want to make it in life, because I really came from a poor home myself. And I'm still poor, I guess you could say. But, and I had some people who told me that I would never be anything. And perhaps I'm nothing now. But to me, I've accomplished a lot. And I tell a lot of kids at school today when I talk to them, they can be anything they want to be, as long as they got the guts to go out and be it. They could be the best pimp in the city if they want to be, or they can be the most intelligent guy in the city if they want to be, or they can be like a lot of people, lay up and be on welfare and expect you to give them everything. And I run across a lot of kids like this here. And like this lunch program, and many more programs we have here in the city, I don't necessarily agree on them. Like the free lunches, the free textbooks. What else do we have free here? They don't have to pay anything to take shop or anything like that to make anything. Because to me, it's really hurting the young people today. The kids that have free lunch tickets. You know, they get food and they just throw it away. They don't have any value of it at all. They just throw food away. Get it just because they can get it free. Textbooks, the same thing. They throw books out the window. But you know, when I think back, when I look at, I think back when I was coming up, I had to pay for my book. As a result, then I kept my book. I kept it good so I could try to sell it the next year and get a profit out of it so I can buy some new books. But the kids, now they just get books free and they just throw them away. They really don't have a value on anything. Uh, there's too many things given to them for nothing. They don't have to earn it. That's when I try to teach my kids, they have to work something. They have to do something to earn money. And to try to show them that, when they get older, that things are not just going to be given to them, just handed out to them. And that way, if you teach the kids that at an early age, then when you grow up, it really helps him in his life.
Where you're presently located, your home, the residential area in which you're living, is that a predominantly black neighborhood, or what you would say was integrated?
It's integrated.
How do your neighbors? How friendly are your neighbors? Are they the neighbors that, well, this nigger just got money, we just got to face it? Or are they more of good, hello, Mr. Wilson, or how you doing, and minding their business?
My neighbors, they are older people, older whites, and they have been very nice to me since I've been there in the past 3.5 years. We get along well, and they got kids, teenagers. We really don't have any problems in our neighborhood. They're pretty good people. Most of them are in business or they're professional people.